Somebody now stood up. I didn't know I was in darkness. I saw your lights. This is the apple. The husband who now stood up. You helped me to grow grammatically, romantically, sensitively, monetically. I just started gulping my drink.
Hello, boys and girls.
Hello, all.
Man's is tired as hell.
What are you tired for?
I'm just tired. Let me tell you something cliche, but health is wealth.
Oh, please.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Fake-me, please.
Let me tell you something. Health is wealth.
Okay.
Why in our 30s?
Oh, you don't mean
Sure.
it.
And we must prioritize what? Healthy living.
Okay.
So me going to bed at 4, it's crazy.
Why did you go to bed at 4?
It's
You go home at
crazy.
12:30.
No. I got home at 1.
Okay.
I dropped that crazy girl, Layla. And then when we got to the front of her house for another 20 minutes, she was in the car discussing things. Actually, I won't tell you what she was discussing. I can't remember what we were talking about. Anyway, we were talking about a couple. And then I now said, oh no, I don't think they would do that. And this babe spent the next 20 minutes explaining to me how when it comes to couples, like let's say you're friends with a guy, friends with a girl, it doesn't matter that you are what they call crowd. I said, what? And she was like, see, it's 2 of them. Then you're number 3, crowd. You know, 3 is a crowd.
It depends on the...
She just kept saying you are a crowd.
It depends. No, but genuinely, it depends on the type of couple. There's some couples
I kept saying different examples. She said, I'll explain something to you. As you are now, you are a crowd.
Do you know what? To be honest, I really think...
everything I said, she said, I want you to understand me. They are the couple. You are what they call crowd. You are a crowd. She said anything 3.
Actually, to some degree, it's true because whenever I used to hang out,
it's actually not that true.
No. I would have agreed with you, but then I just remembered something that happened that made me realize this. One of my friends, when she had first gotten married, she was like, "Oh, they'll come and pick me. We're going somewhere," and obviously, like they're sitting at the front of the car. He's driving. She's sitting down next to him. And I'm the one in the middle at the back. And I was just looking like, something feels wrong somewhere.
You were a crowd.
I was a crowd.
You were a crowd.
And so like, when she was choosing the music, she now said, is this okay, babe? And I thought, what the fuck about me? What about me? I don't like this music. What about me? But I couldn't
nobody else.
I couldn't speak out. I couldn't voice out.
No, you can't.
Because I was a crowd.
You're a crowd.
You could have told me to calm down.
These are the facts. She actually said it as, see, you're a crowd.
I actually believe Leila saying
she
that.
Said the problem is like, what you don't understand is you're a crowd.
Leila is so Yoruba. It's so funny. So like when she comes to my house and she goes to greet my mom will say enter the room. Leila will stand outside. She won't enter my parents' room. She said, what is she doing there? My mom would be like, are you nuts?
All she kept saying was, hey, Ru.
You're a crowd.
You're a crowd. I want to explain to you that at our age, once people even get to a relationship, hey, Ru.
No.
That's what I was saying, that Haba.
There are some that you can still...
She said no problem.
You can still
this is why I was still getting into disgrace at the front. Because I'm not accepting that I'm a crowd.
Do you know what? Fair enough.
That's so crazy of someone to say. Next thing, should I ask you my driver? She said, I know we're not supposed to involve you, but waiting I talk, when it comes to man-woman matter, he said it's true, I said, sorry, what's going on? Anyway, 20 minutes we were outside our house.
Discussing crowd or no
outside
crowd.
the car. That was I point out. She was standing outside in front of her gate. People who were around would have been thinking, what was this? I said, will you not sit down inside? No. So that's one other thing I learned yesterday, that I'm actually a crowd.
Okay, fair. What did you do this weekend?
What did I do this weekend? This weekend, I didn't do much. I did work, and then yesterday we were playing on Sunday. But on Wednesday, my weekend started on Wednesday. Sure. Me and Debbie, the producer. Because I don't want to seem... Because when I said it, a lot of people were like, I don't understand Wednesday. I said, no, it's not only me. That was the... Other responsible adults were also there. Debbie was also there. You know, our lovely senior man, Alex, came from Abuja. You know, when he comes, what is my work? Let's spend the money. Let's do what they call merriment any day of the week. they're down for merriment. So he said, oh, one thing, I don't know what we were celebrating. We said, okay, there's champagne to be drunk. Let's go to the library. For those uninitiated, this is not the library.
Not an actual library, guys. It's a club.
It's a clubhouse. So we went there, and library is now doing this.
Is the food good? Really?
I didn't eat because they were having sushi. But they had a lovely one.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't eat, but people who ate the sushi were enjoying it. Anyways, so, normal, they said we're drinking champagne. You can always find me there. I could message them, but they said we're outside tonight. Me and Debbie were now discussing amongst ourselves that, I had a meeting in Ikeja, 8 a.m.
Okay.
Debbie had meeting, I think 9. Some of us were now discussing. You would have thought that the conclusion will now be,
let's go home.
We said anyway, after the plenty discussion about the meetings we have, said anyway, we'll be there. See you there. So off we went, jolly time. And the library has turned from like a club to this it's a mix, like a white tablecloth dinner with like a show. So it's like Bagatelle meets Zaza. And I don't know Bagatelle, if you people know it, their staff stands on the table, they wipe, wave napkin. That's not what they do in library anyway. I thought that was what they would do, but that's not what they did. We noticed a lot of things, and I don't want to go into too many of my observations about that night, but I noticed a lot of things. Okay. First of all, me and Debbie concluded we can do those dances.
Fikemi and Debbie cannot do those dances.
No, Debbie she did a cha-cha. Yes, absolutely. I'm telling you the truth. She did a cha-cha. You know the cha-cha?
I am aware.
Yes. Anyway, we're telling her that she can do this work. In case this doesn't work out.
In case this podcast doesn't work out. True, fair.
In case this podcast doesn't work out. Anyways, it was fun. There were performances and different things. And the desertification of Lagos is a crazy run.
Yeah.
Since those people arrived, nobody has eaten without Michael Jackson singing again.
I have a friend who has a whole rant. He's quiet, so it will never become public about why does Lagos need a soundtrack. Yeah, at the barber, they're playing loud music. You go to a restaurant that's like the setting of the restaurant is even like an upscale or romantic setting. The music is super loud. You are going to buy suya, they're blasting music. You are in church.
You're on the beach.
You're on the beach. Like, he's like, there is no silence. And my conclusion is that it's because Nigerians we're evil. Yes. And in silence,
the
our
evil
consciences
is
will judge us.
Sure.
So we don't want to. So we want to drown
my
out
own is always like, there's not even like soft, you know different places there's like soft. No.
It doesn't matter where you go. You just say, excuse me.
What's all these bang, 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 bang?
You've brought a bill of 400k for 2 people. And I'm here, shingolo. It's first remove 100k for this rubbish that you guys are doing. But yeah.
So I'm just like, I think it's a crazy run. I can't remember the last time I went out that somebody was not dancing or singing or playing an instrument. I'm just like, can we please and thank you? Like, sometimes I just want to go out.
Yeah, and Sade was talking about how it's a bit upsetting how the landscape of the Nigerian, Lagos, I'll say Lagos because that's where we live. The Lagos scene has changed in that everybody's trying to be like super upscale, and even within that upscale, it's a very monotonous thing. Meanwhile, when I first started like sort of going out in Lagos, there were different things. So I remember like Wednesday was bottles.
Yes, Wednesday was bottles. And then after bottles was 355.
355. And it's literally
But it was a casual, you could go there as in your work garments.
Your work clothes. You could go there, like people were literally chilling. Like it was the definition of chilling. And I remember having a thing
Wednesday
where...
was also Crossroads. Oh man, we've had plenty
Wednesday.
Yeah,
I remember there's a time when me and my friends, we would plan like we're all going to meet on Wednesday after work at bottles and go to 355. And everybody's budget would be less than 10k.
Yeah, because you're just having a drink.
It's like 6 of us. We're going to spend 40k. We're going to get the pitcher.
Yeah.
We're going to get a platter. And it's not like we're going to go home and eat again. Like everybody was going to be fine. And then for those of us that lived in VGC, from VI to VGC, my 1,800 naira cab or 3k cab was part of my bill.
Yeah.
So I realized that a lot of stuff has
changed fundamentally.
Pictures were like 15k, 10k. and you are getting maybe 10, 12 glasses out of that. So I think there was bottles, there was
bottles, there was
La
Crossroads,
Taverna Velvet.
There was so many. As in, you could go out, you could be out till 1-ish.
Yeah.
And not enter a club.
Yeah, and have a good time.
And have like a solid...
And the vibes would be different. And then there's Bogobiri. And then the vibes would be different. But it never felt like if I don't have 50,000
everything wasn't
naira,
the same thing. And you didn't have to order a bottle everywhere.
Yes, if I don't have 50,000 naira, then I'm embarrassed to be out because you don't have anything to contribute. Your 10K went far. Your 5K went far. And if you're a young person, like 23, 24, 25, like I was not...
We were playing and 26, it was fine. 20,
like
it was
actually
not okay.
It was okay. And the thing is, because
Cocktails
all these establishments... Because all these
15K.
establishments were making money, they weren't trying to be clubs that have dancers or like, oh, we only sell like premium liquor. Because everybody was still making good money, even with volume, because it was just volume. But now everything has changed.
Everything has changed.
Remember, even there's a time that even Sean's bar was a thing.
Yeah.
You go and get shawarma, karaoke, drinks with your friends, and you've had a good time.
Everything has changed.
But it's changed, and now everybody, the poorer we get, the more, I feel like the poorer we get.
Do you remember all those people used to do those concerts in Freedom Park?
Yeah, our Afro something.
I can't remember. There were chat nights that you go. There were things going on, and they were not costing an arm and a leg.
I said your budget.
You were outside,
a wild night.
And you were okay.
A wild night, if you are not going to the club, 15K, 20K, and you are good. If you are a piglet.
And you've like mingled enough that, it's okay. Everything was just fine. It was okay. And now, I don't think it's that easy to just step out anymore because everything is so boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. And I don't even mean stepping out multiple times a week. I mean like you have like a good time at the weekend or in the middle of the week and you go home.
And it was just, it was drinks, it was mingling.
It was casual.
It was fine.
And it felt good.
Like it was fine. You didn't have to be in clubbing garments.
Yeah.
And they were different. I don't know why I've forgotten all the other days, but there were different days, there were different things. You could just do things. And I miss that.
There's a group of friends I made because when Toasties first opened, she used to be in, like literally it was a shack.
Yeah.
She used to be in a shack where she was still testing. This is when she was still using like unsliced bread. Oh man, these are the days. And her sandwiches started from like 500 naira. Yeah, 500 to 1.5, 2K if you're pushing it. If you had like cheese and expensive stuff. But I remember when she was still testing, she would be testing our recipes. And it was Thursday lunch. And I remember because that was the day I had my CDS.
Yeah.
And it became kind of like a thing because a bunch of people would go there for lunch or CDS. And people would spend their lunch break there, 1 hour there. And I remember like nobody there was spending like 5K. Yeah. It was, you get a nice drink, fries, your sandwich. Some people, if you're even into theft, you might have 7K. I know, because genuinely, it felt less, I don't know.
Yeah, everything is so, literally, we're joking yesterday because we're like, oh, where should we go? And some of us were just like, actually, when you start to calculate
there's no point.
When you start to calculate the quick drinks.
No.
That you want to have. We spent 40K. You've had 2 drinks, 2 cocktails. Onto what? Half of it is ice.
Yeah. If that.
Do you know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know, it's getting out of hand.
It's out of hand. And I feel really bad for people who are like younger and just...
Yeah, because honestly, before the number of times I used to just go for lunch, go for dinner, and it wasn't...
the end of the world.
I didn't have to... Now, if you invite me to certain places, let's go and eat, you and me, my friend, to catch up, what of your house?
No, I'm not going.
What about my house? What has happened?
I'm not going anymore.
The reason we're doing this dinner is what?
I'm not going anymore.
These are questions I must discuss. And I'm like, I'm not poor.
Do you even remember
I can't do it.
When we first started hanging out, we actually used to order food from a place. Everybody would just place their order, send the money.
We would just order.
Then the numbers just started like ballooning.
It started to just... Every week we would order it on Sunday. Like 8 people order. Now we're like,
why is this number?
This bill is starting to look a bit crazy.
We just called our friend's housekeeper. Sorry, how much is it for you to go to the market?
That was it.
For us? And that's how we ended.
What are we eating? What are you charging me? So I don't really, it's not making sense to me anymore. I can't lie. And it's not as fun because everything is so expensive. And if we are saying everything is so expensive, then like, sometimes I'm like, that's crazy because a lot of us that are complaining, it's not as if you're doing badly, but by the time every nice dinner is costing you 100K, 2 people. What's going on?
I remember the first time I got a 50K bill, I started sweating because this is not what I was supposed to be spending.
Also, there's nothing happening. It's not like you went to dinner for something. You just went to eat. It's just like, oh, I want to pop into this restaurant. You spent 65K. You say you can't even have 2 drinks.
No, 2.
Two
you
cocktails.
Start with water.
So you're talking about.
You now tell them, please bring the cocktail 20 minutes after I start eating, if you don't mind.
So no. I don't even do all those things anymore.
Weird. My weekend was busy-ish. So on my Friday was busy, not the whole weekend. But on Friday, I had a photo shoot with Culture Custodian.
Before I say, please, we had a great time at library. Let's not be as if we did not have. We had a lovely, wonderful, and fantastic time. However, as noted, the next morning was a disaster.
Fair. On Friday, I had a photo shoot with Culture Custodian. Maiwa is my friend. So I don't think I've ever told Maiwa, like, no. If you called me for something, I'll just be like, yeah, sure.
It's a bit difficult.
Yeah. So I had a photo shoot, and then I had a film. Yeah, it was a film. I moderated a documentary screening, and that was really nice. So the documentary is about. There's a period where Wole Soyinka was a lecturer at University of Ibadan UI. He was head of drama, and like what basically became theatre studies. Yeah,
wow.
What basically became theatre studies, and he lived in a place called Ibrahimi Road, 8 Ibrahimi Road. But that's where he was also arrested and taken to prison from, imprisoned from, and so. It was just a documentary about what that place meant.
Right.
But the title of the film is Ibrahimi Road, a Museum of Memory. But the idea behind the film was really about what constitutes as a landmark and what makes a place special. And so they spoke to him, they spoke to his wife at the time, they spoke to the children that lived there and grew up there, neighbors, lecturers. It was really interesting. The children were there. That's what they lived when the Civil War started. Yeah. It was just really incredible, like, to listen to all of them talk about basically current affairs. It really humanized him in a different way as well because of particularly his daughters, the way his daughters were speaking about him. And these are women who are in their like 50s and 60s. And they're like, yeah, we would plait daddy's hair and because you forget, like when somebody has a larger than life persona.
You forget that they're still in normal.
Yes. And then also, I remember the first time I realized that Wole Soyinka and Fela were cousins. And so his niece was there at the screening and she said something. And I just thought, it's so interesting when you put a person's behavior or ideas in context.
Yeah.
So he was in his 30s at the time, I think, or his 40s. And he went to prison for like 2.5 years. It was just really, like the whole thing, that for me in particular was really interesting. And then they show you how the space changed. So apparently he really likes living. He has 2 things for wherever he would live in like a university setting. He had 2 things. He would lobby to live in the staff quarters that were one, he wanted to live on the last house on the road and the one that had the most like forest woods.
Yeah.
So he believes that you should interfere with nature as little as possible. But then over time, that house, they've taken out of the land to build a car park, to build an event center. And it's very interesting how Nigerians have little to no regard for the environment.
We don't like green.
Especially,
I don't know how to explain it. It's down to like the tiniest things. So, oh my God, there's this guy on Instagram. I don't remember his name. Jesus Christ, this is really going to bother me. But he does these tours of like Brazilian quarters, Lagos Island. What's this boy's name? I don't even know who I mean. It's just a page on Instagram and he does like walking tours or like, I'm not sure if he does keke tours. It's a facade of something. Someone should check. Anyway, he has these tours and he talks about like the architecture. And I found his page randomly. Someone posted something about it and I was like, oh, this is super interesting. And I remember he went on and on just about like, you'll be saying the history of this old colonial building. This person lived here. And you just see that people are selling biscuits and akara inside. And you'll be thinking, excuse me, this house is from, whatever period of time, 1918,
the 18th
something, this one.
century.
And you're just like, okay, now, look how many people have, as in, they're squatting here. Nobody is taking care of this place. There's not even any way for you in the public to even see small sign.
Yeah.
For God's sake, Sherlock Holmes' house on Baker Street, is a place that people go to.
Yeah.
The fictional characters have plaques abroad of like, this is the house they filmed.
No, Paddington
so.
Bear.
Do you know what I mean? They filmed
Paddington
Bear. They filmed so and so in. But here we're just kind of.
What I was talking about, in King's Cross, there is a platform 9 3/4.
There is a platform, and there is a day where people go to platform 9 3/4.
Yes,
it exists.
It exists.
They even banned it last year because too many people were there. So I'm like, we're not serious people.
Yeah.
And I don't know when, but speaking of Sade, one of her stories, and this thing, I have been thinking about this since I saw it. I think it was, I don't even know if it was, I didn't see the whole Insta story, but I'm now thinking maybe it was in the same context of this Wole Soyinka thing, because there was something about documentary, but she was, I guess there was an interview being had.
Yeah, sure.
So she was saying something about about interviewing our grandparents, basically, and capturing those stories before they go. And I have been thinking about it since that. I know, so like my grandmother is the Sego of Sego Gele. And I mean, I know maybe 60% of that story. Who even knows the rest of the story? And I'm like, this thing exists nowhere. Not even as like anything, just... And there's so many people's grandparents that are like that they're like legends in their corner. And we just have no idea, no context. Whereas I can watch a show about, as in a very specific context about like, I don't know, cowboys that did Kiniko in Wyoming. And then it will chronicle the 6 generations of this ranch. And I'm just like, what is going on?
Yeah,
we don't actually have anything.
So let me tell you what I think it is. I think disregard for history can come in multiple ways, because this is on the back of like Babangida launching a book and being like,
and all of you trying to bloody rewrite
in public, because there is no. So you have to think about who does history. Who does history help?
Yeah,
basically. And if someone is in charge of society and accurate history paints them in a bad light, what are the odds that they have the character of will to be ready to look in the mirror like that?
The odds are zero, as we have seen.
Yeah, Nigerian culture is very interesting in that people want to do evil. I'm not even going to say bad things. People want to do evil and bully everybody else into rewriting the narrative that it was for their own good, or that we didn't understand. And this is not just on a macro level, even at home. Like, think of how many times your parents have gone too far in terms of discipline and have never said, I shouldn't have done that to you. I shouldn't have done that to you. It's always because of X.
Even though they know and you know that, okay, there was a line, you crossed it.
Or furthermore, where you have been treated actually like unfairly, where people have done the wrong thing and they try to hide behind like culture, tradition, age, because they are too ashamed. So it's so crazy where instead of you to keep your shame, like have this private shame and go away, you want to bully the entire society into rewriting a narrative and keeping you on top. It is the craziest thing. So for instance, it's how I don't understand how as a public leader, you are a thief, you're a liar, you are a murderer.
Killer.
And instead of going away quietly, because you've gotten away with it, it's like you got
away with it decades ago.
You've never been to prison and you never will go. You never will be pulled up publicly for your actions.
You.
Nothing at all. Instead of you to go away and hide quietly, you then even take offense at the idea of being questioned, or you might read pop somewhere that somebody said something about you and, oh yeah, you have the audacity to say, oh, your lawyer should go and get the person locked up. This idea that you're not content with your loot you still have standing in society. It is so crazy. You now want to force people to it's a bit crazy. If you think about it, it's worse than you've already done what you want to do, you've gotten away with it.
But now you still want to like
you've even built generational wealth off of it. Go away and be quiet in a corner is not enough. They actually want to. There's not like gaslighting, because I find this happens with. So, for instance, and I think particularly when they use culture, it's so it's so disgusting to me. I had a big back and forth with an uncle of mine, and he's very friendly with like a specific a person that any right-thinking Nigerian doesn't respect or have any feelings towards, like you don't care. And he had this thing of, I want you to meet this person and I think you will learn a lot from him. And I laughed because I was like, you have to be joking, right? And he was like, no, like everybody does things in their own way and blah, blah, blah. And it started this conversation. And I said, let me tell you what is happening. And we got into he was really upset with me. And I said, let me tell you what this thing is. You've decided, you've sold your mouth and you want to involve me.
Yeah.
You've decided you can't speak up. You can't stand up to this person. You can't speak up. You've refused to do the right thing for whatever,
reason.
Whatever reason, whatever you're getting from it, whether you're just happy to be close to an important person, whether there's financial remuneration involved. I don't know what it does for you and your ego and your pockets. You have decided that this is the line you want to toe. Now, again, rather than quietly continuing that way, you're trying to co-opt other people so you feel less bad.
And you're trying to make it okay.
Yes, because now if it's that everybody's not saying, but
you can learn from the person this one. What are you talking about?
It makes you feel less bad. But so stop trying to co-opt other people into your lack of spine. I'm not interested. Got so mad, got so upset. Blah, 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 blah. I said, you can shout from today to tomorrow. Your friend is a fool and you are a coward. Because this is not something that you need.
And a lot of adults are they're so bothered by being confronted with this reality that, okay, nobody's saying you should not do it.
Yes, but
all
don't co-opt everybody else.
One, let's be serious.
Yes.
Okay, let's be serious about what you're doing. And number two, it's okay, you're doing it now. Stand in it. Do it with your chest. Be okay. It's a lot of times when I say things, people, they'll start saying, oh, you people have come again. I'm like, which one is all these you people have come again? I'm telling you that your colleagues,
your friends,
your classmates are crooks and thieves and killers. That's just the fact. Now, it's not your fault. But you insist on being with them. But when they call them out, it's not for you to now say, it's like even this book launch, I just said, look at you people's fathers and grandfathers and uncles now, for God's sake.
No need.
This nigga is looking at all of us and saying, you are all fools.
There's no need. There was no need for that.
And all of you are clapping for him. There was no need. Why would you write a book?
There was no need for that.
So I don't know. But anyway, the thing of not keeping these stories, I think even just within families, is really bothering me.
It's very important.
And I don't know what to do about it, because it's not like a project I want to take on or anything, but I'm just like, but how do we get this to happen?
No, it's very
for
simple.
Myself, even within my own family, I'm like, wait, my grandpa, my grandma, the two remaining ones that I have, do I even know kind of their context and how it feeds into and how it feeds into you don't even have to be.
They don't even have to be important figures. So when Folusha was writing her book, because Folusha's grandparents are still alive, and the book is set in the 30s into the 40s, she was able to ask her grandparents questions because they were children at the time during the Second World War, and so her grandma was telling her about standing in line for rations because her family's from Lagos Island, standing in line for rations. And that was the first time a lot of people who read the book realized that Nigeria was affected during the World War. People left to fight, the main character's twin brother wants to go and fight for the Queen, right? And they recruited Nigerians to become fighters. They were soldiers in the World War. When we see depictions of World War, you never see the African.
Think of that.
You never see the African soldiers. They don't show it. But this is something that was a reality. Nigeria, West Africa, all the colonized nations sent grain, they sent food, they sent this paid taxes that were used to fight that war. And nobody really, really talks about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so a big thing is genuinely, I cried and cried and cried when my grandpa died because I kept saying, I'm just going to go and sit down with this man and find out about his life. My grandfather was born in 1933. Was it 1933 or 36? Something like that. My grandfather was in his in his late 20s or his 30s when Nigeria got independence. Like he wasn't
They
a
were
baby.
adults.
He was there. My grandfather saw all the iterations. He used to say sometimes he would just be playing with, when he had a flip phone, he would just be playing with it. And he would say, you don't understand. I lived when there were town criers.
Yeah.
I don't think you understand
the trajectory
of where we've gotten to. I was alive when to get to England, you had to take a boat.
Yeah.
And you would be on the boat for weeks. Not days, weeks. And now you're telling me that my granddaughter will stop by my house in the morning, say, Grandpa, I'm going to school. And call me.
You can hop on a flight
call me in London in the evening. On a phone that has no wire.
Nothing. And it's not heavy. It's not one of those huge. I mean, we even saw big phones.
Yes.
Like, so for me, it's just wild. And even just little contextual things. Look, my grandma was making lace. She was drawing lace designs by hand, as in with pencil and paper and coloring, and then going to Austria to have it made. So a lot of times now, she's just like, the context is so different of everything you guys are talking about. Like, which one is, you just put the shop on Instagram. Next thing, people will she's like, I built a shop in my house. And the way she had to keep clients was she would wear the new gay lace, she would wear the new lace to parties. So she was always going to everybody's party because that was how you would see that, there's a new lace, there's a new gele out. And then she had the shop beside her house. Why? Because she would then feed people. So people were always coming to eat. And then women who gather and sit down, give them small time, they've spent money. And so that was so she was just like, all these things we're always saying about now, let's just put it on Instagram. She's just like,
no, even if they want,
what are you talking about?
Even if they want like, they want people who did something, just hearing
just in general, even just your family context is very important.
My grandfather used to say that there was a time that they were afraid. When we moved to Ikoyi, my granddad was very emotional, deeply emotional, because there was a big part of it was that there was a time that Nigerians weren't really supposed to live on the island.
Yeah.
It was a colonial, they weren't allowed to be here. There was no Lekki, it was a swamp, right? So
I remember walking around on sand in Parkview.
When we don't have that history, or even things like my grandmother, she was very avid about collecting her pension. And this is in terms of like more recent history. But when we don't record the evil people do, you forget. And what happens with forgetting is the people that those things really hurt the most, when we don't collect their stories, it is removed. So my grandmother had a story about people dying in the queue to get their pensions.
No.
Yes.
That's crazy.
People collapsing,
while waiting.
Political leaders had stolen their pensions. And someone, a leader at the time, a governor at the time, was saying in Yoruba that don't your children take care of you? So she saw people would collapse on the queue. People would faint on the queue. People who had health problems would pee and shit themselves in the queue because they had nobody to help them, right? Because they were waiting these are people that had been teachers and cleaners.
They're just waiting to collect.
They were waiting to collect what they were owed. And government officials had stolen this thing. So now it's because all those stories are not told. They are not told, right? It's easy for people to forget because it wasn't you that this thing happened to. And I think that documentary really reminded me. I was so upset because I remember thinking my grandfather moved from the village to Lagos. And the Lagos he lived in changed literally every year till he
like my
died.
grandma would talk about when that everything has casted, when they used to ride bikes and all that. I'm like,
when they used to go fishing.
Where will I be riding my bicycle in this nonsense?
All those kinds of things. So I think that everybody who has a living grandparents and uncle,
I think we should all like me now. I'm insisting on it.
Just ask them
been
questions.
Fighting me, and I'm like, do you know what? Because we've been fighting to tell the story publicly. I'm like, I don't even want it
doesn't have to be public.
I just want it for myself.
Yes,
I want it for myself. I don't want this thing to pass. We don't have family history. You don't even know kind of the context. I'm always sort of a bit mind blown / jealous when, you'll be watching things and someone will say, oh, my great grandfather kind of did it down to like a granular detail of their life. And I'm like, there's so many things I don't know. Okay, my grandparents, I know. What did their own parents do?
Yep.
What were they like? What is the context of this?
Of their lives.
I have no idea. So please, I will encourage really all of you to really.
It is extremely
set your ring lights for your grandparents.
Important,
and it doesn't have to be for any public consumption. I think just for you people inside your house. In fact, even just for you, let nobody care. I just think it is so. I've been thinking about it so much. I'm just like.
Also, there's information you learn when you ask questions.
Yeah.
So. I have a theory about my middle brother. I'm not going to put him on the spot, but I was telling a family friend about it. I was like, I think this and this and this, and I think my brother this and this and this. And he said, oh, this is in your lineage. I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, oh, people from this part of the country, this is something that they were known for. This is something that they used to do, and this is blah, 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 blah. And he was like, I know you guys are Lagos kids, but you're one generation removed. Your father was born in Elisha, so it's not as if you're that. But this is something that obviously your brother has a knack for, but it is not isolated. Like it is in your lineage. It's something that you guys do. And if you hone it, you have the resources, you have instinct. Like there's stuff that passes through the blood, whether or not you believe it. But as if once we move to Lagos, we just cut off. Like nothing concerns us again with any of that.
It's very interesting, but I think it's something that I'm very, very concerned about, and I want to do as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Also, documentaries like that are important because, and it was very well done. So when you watch stuff like that, it encourages people, to know more questions. Because there was just stuff like, there's so his son, Olaokun, was talking about how. Because they were kids. So they were just playing and then, just saw a new soldiers. That was the beginning of the Civil War. They didn't know. They were playing.
It's just context,
But, they were playing and he was talking about how, it was mind-blowing to me that we take all this stuff for granted and then, we don't have history. But the difference is they write their shit.
And honestly, I think a big part of it is that it is there's a part of it like this kind of your own family stories that you are the one that needs captured. But when it comes to kind of national history, political history, if anybody tells me that it's not on purpose that they did not write that thing, then they'll do biography. They will write their own there. This is what I said, sir, it's very good. Thanks so much for your own opinion. The problem is people don't put things that are going on now in context. And our context is not that far. A lot of us were alive when Abacha was here. Do you get, it's not, a lot of things we talk about are not that far behind us. So between your parents and you've seen most of what has happened in the my dad is older than this country. So I'm just like, we're here. We're in the same bracket.
And there's so much that can be told, just so many stories. And some of it's flattering and unflattering. One thing a big thing for me at the beginning of the year, I was trying to figure out what are the things I'm not happy with. And this is random before I go back to the last thing, but a big thing is I am over the obsession of how things look.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I mean by that is there is an obsession with a legacy that doesn't exist, just prevents you from moving forward. And when I say legacy, I don't mean in a big way. I mean your constant worry about how people perceive you or know you or understand your intentions, judge your actions or inactions means that it's very difficult to actually get shit done, do anything, or live and be happy with your choices. And it's something that kind of was reiterated again when, Rihanna has a new interview.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, at Harper's Bazaar. And she's just talking in general. And one thing I really like about her is you get the sense, I don't know her personally. She's not my cousin. You get the sense.
I think that's well established. Thank you so much for that.
Just in case you guys didn't know.
Announcement that Rihanna is in fact
she's not my relative
from Elisha.
No, because you know how people talk as if they know these people personally.
Because the way you said it, we know she's not from Osun State. Thank you.
Sure, you never know. She's Bejan. She could have gone from someone in her lineage could have gone from our village to that island. But I think that you get the sense that she lives her life and then she's happy to own the consequences of whatever is happening. She's happy to be like, okay, these are the decisions I'm making and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
As opposed to constantly maneuvering in it. If I do this, people will think this. So let me not do this because people... I'm sure that there's some elements of that. But as a, first-born Yoruba girl living in Nigeria, there's a lot of stuff that you're just constantly inundated with voices in your head that are not even...
they don't necessarily really exist.
Yes.
But they exist in your context of, oh, this one say,
what will this person do?
How will it look? How will it feel?
Yes.
How will it clinical? How will it... And I'm just like...
And you're living an imaginary life, doing imaginary things and just sort of half living. And then, the cowardice of not wanting to own any decisions, so not really doing what you want to do.
Yeah, I think this thing of super random, but so another interview that I started, but I haven't finished, but it's really interesting is, have you seen the new Mr. Beast interview?
No.
So one of the podcasts I listened to, he was on it, and then his interview, so I was listening to that like a couple of days ago, and then his interview with Diary of a CEO has just come out. And I don't watch Mr. Beast on YouTube. I'm not I'm not on YouTube a lot. Now, so I don't really watch Mr. Beast on YouTube, but obviously if you might have seen the videos. I've seen a couple of them. There. I watched the one where he had people from 1 to 100. I've seen a couple of them and he does these interesting, crazy things. But I was watching it and just, you see, there's certain mindsets that are just like, this is crazy. Not even in a crazy way, but it's just what you're saying. I'm like, you have owned your life and how you're going to do it and what you're going to do in such a granular way that it is just so deeply fascinating to me. Like, I was like, this man is free. This man has decided that these are the rules I am living by, and that's it. Anything people want to do, like, as in with your own life or the way. And obviously his context is very interesting because he's a YouTuber. He's constantly thinking of how to outdo all these crazy. So I'm just like, it's not even, to me, it's not even a real life. It seems, in the clouds. But it was just, and I haven't even finished it, but it was just so fascinating to me. Just like what you're saying, where I got a deep sense of, this somebody that is like, see, this is my life. And this how it's going, and that's it. Any other one people want to do. So there was an interesting thing, and I'm like, these are such random things. For people close on his team, he has them literally, when you say, oh, you're shadowing someone, he has them literally, they live together for a couple of months, so that, because he believes that the team bonding is more than all these fall down, let me catch you, or these sip and pits that they always do for team bonding, that's in, you have to get into. And I'm like, and it's so interesting because I'm like, you people are doing 3 months living together, following him up and down, team bonding. This idea of him cloning himself. So like, there's certain things I want this person to learn. And I think they can only learn it by literally 2 of us spending a lot all the time together, both working and not working, so that you kind of,
understand how I think.
His top team is basically thinking, obviously they have their own thoughts, but they all have like a group think because they've spent so much time together in the thinking that it's like he knows the decision you are going to make because that decision he would make. And I was like, you people are not saving the world now. You people are not curing cancer.
This is just for content.
This is just for YouTube videos about blowing up a Ferrari. But that is what he has decided to do with that. And he's doing it on the most intense possible level. And I was like, bro, this is crazy shit. And it was so fascinating to me because I was like, I don't know that I can like be as intentional or one-dimensional about not that I even want to be one-dimensional, but you know what I mean? Take on that kind of intensity of this is my life. And people who do, let me tell you, I find it to be ultimately the most fascinating thing. I think it's really crazy.
There's a few things that I'm trying to do this year. And once I started to like honestly be like, what's stopping this? What's stopping this? What's stopping this? A lot of it boils down to what we just said.
Yeah.
Now, just this imaginary what if, how come, It won't look nice. It won't look. It will look weird.
Another question I always have is: does it make sense in the context of who I am? But is me like there's one or two things that I've always wanted to do. But yesterday I was now thinking, but like this has nothing to do with me. Like if you mention, I'm like, it is one of those things where if someone says, well, this person is doing things, I'll be thinking, that's very random now. When they start doing that. And I was like, that is so crazy that I'm having this conversation about myself and it's me. I'm like, so even me, that I'm with myself here, just two of us. I'm still saying that, but this is not, as in this is so random for you to do. But I'm just like, how is this? What conversation am I having? Who is even talking to you? You know? So I'm like, I'm the one limiting myself. And for context, this is not a conversation that I'm even having with somebody else. Just you and myself. In this personal meeting two of us are having now, one is telling me, okay, but when did we start doing that? And I'm like, so even in this family meeting, we can't even conclude on anything. What is to be done when we step out? We're not aligned. Yeah. So I find it really interesting. I find it quite bizarre. Yeah. It's an interesting one.
The only other thing I did was Fekewa called me on Thursday. It was like, hi Jola, what are you doing tomorrow? She didn't allow me to talk. So this is how the conversation went. Hi Jola, what are you doing tomorrow? Nothing, great. We'll send you the address of what you're doing in the evening. See you. I said, okay, no problem. So Fekewa was cooking for a brand and she said that there were a few seats left, so she wanted me and some of her own friends to come. Of course, Fekewa is an insanely good cook. So I was like, yeah, sure. So I don't know what I didn't have any context. I didn't know what it was at all. And I know why she didn't tell me what it was because I wouldn't have gone. So I get there a bit late because the film thing finished late. So I rushed there. It was a gather in Ikoyi, which was really nice. So they had allowed them use the space. It was very, very nice. I missed the first course, but it was such good food. And I know this sounds silly because Fekewa does a lot of catering, right? So there's Kewa's kitchen, you sit at parties. So she does a lot of set kitchen. I think I've tasted every single thing on Fekewa's menu. And then there's Ajoje. I've been a number of times. So brunch, dinner, I've gone. So I always forget that Fekewa is like a chef.
Yeah, like she can actually do
I forget
chef things.
That she does like chefy shit. So she did, you know what they'll say is a puree like of a something. The food was insane. One thing about me, I was eating, having a swell time, and it was with Moet. So all of a sudden, brand manager now comes and stands with her glass and says, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I raise my glass. You're welcome. We're here to celebrate love. Said, so all the couples are now going to talk and give a toast to love. I shit you not, you guys. That's when I realized that everybody there
was with a partner. You were just so congealed.
I was just eating.
You didn't see.
I said, me and Kepe, me and her friend, I said, oh.
The first person, huge mistake.
I said, please let me vomit people's food back. Kepe, me, somebody now stood up. I didn't know I was in darkness. See, I saw your lights. This is the apple. The husband who now stood up. You helped me to grow grammatically, romantically, sensitively, monetically. I just started gulping my drink. Another person stood up. Oh, thank you for the best 11 years. I said 11 years! Our two children. I can never love another love in a love. I said, me, I came to eat prawn. What is happening here? You guys, it was, so, and then it was me, Kepemia, which I had left, and then there was a couple of people from the Moe team. I was just hissing. Anything anybody will say, I couldn't take it. People were truly loving. Oh, then it got to one over-sabi couple. I love you, baby. So then I put their tongue. I said, let me just tell you something. We're not sure COVID is over. You guys.
So this nonsense you are doing.
This rubbish you are doing. We're not sure COVID has ended. Okay? That you are opening your big tongue and swallowing each other, chewing each other's mouths in public. Don't you have shame? Are you not shy? They were just telling each other all sorts. You've been with me through fat and thin. You've been with me through up and down. You follow me through the city and to the village. I was just looking at them. You guys, I was shy. Thankfully, they got to another bitter lady before me. She just said, let me tell you about the love of Christ. I said, that's my girl.
That's correct.
That's my girl.
All is vanity at the end.
I said, you cannot take marriage to heaven. Let me tell you people. You can't take marriage to heaven. What did you get for all your trouble? 1 certificate. And some of you did not even do legal wedding. So how are you sure of all these things you are saying? You enter Bella Niger court, you did not go. You just did party for people. Anyway, don't let it be like I'm a hater.
You did small thing on your head.
Thank you. I couldn't believe.
Do you know when couples like get like deep and
mushy?
I'm always just like, oh my God, this is not okay.
No, it depends on how well I know you. Again, I will always disgrace her. You guys, Dilemmasss court wedding. Chidima, I said, Chidima, this is a man you are talking to. Hey! That's how my friend started crying. I said, you. Okurimeta, you are crying because of the man.
We were laughing now that we saw anyway.
Well, to be fair, her own white wedding, even me, I was crying.
I can't lie, everybody was crying. So, her vows, she said the love has transformed her, healed her. Money, are you sick? What are you going through? What's this? Transform you, see, bo. So all of us that have been here since, we didn't transform you, we didn't heal you, then all of Christ. You met Christ. You didn't say all these ones.
No, that
women.
What shocked me was how much do I like food that it did not even occur to me
to look
when
around.
I got in. Because I actually walked, so it wasn't as if I went straight to my sister. I walked around. But I was so focused on, they've started eating. Then I ran to sit and I wanted to catch up. It did not even occur. I was just, I was so out of it that I just opened my Kindle. I was eating and reading. It did not even occur to me to say,
okay, you see when I always say this Kindle,
I'm
this
Jola
was
by name.
A public events.
Okay. It did not even occur to me to say, Jola is the name and you. Nothing. I just was eating, reading. Sometimes I'll laugh with Kepemiawu. Only for me to hear you are my moon and star. No. Ladies, let me just, all I said is to say, longer throat is not good. Because I did not even ask. Once Fekera said I'm cooking, I did not even bother to say, are you cooking for Babangida? Let me not get there and it's a comic book that they are launching, I just ran there with my 2 left legs to eat food I did not pay for. Wow. No, but Kewa is incredible. Like it was
really, really good.
It was such an amazing meal, and I'm so proud of her. Like I remember when Kewa said she was after law school, when she said she was going to Cordon Bleu, and everybody was like, "Well, we wish you best." We wish you best of luck. Like your
don't know what's happening there, but go ahead.
I'm so local. You know that Ibedu, you are very local. Me, I kept thinking, so maybe she wants to be doing catering with her mommy. Jola, God. It's nice when people want to work with their parents. So that maybe she wants to like continue her
sending her to do all this cooking lesson that we used to do.
Yes, that maybe she wants to do. She wants to continue her. Fakewa killed it. It was so. And me, like, why the age where your friends have started spending like almost a decade in what they're doing.
So like people are actually very, very accomplished.
Yes, you're starting to see like,
and you're like, oh wow. I remember I saw something one of my friends did the other day, and I just thought, okay, so you're like very good at what you do, which is crazy because I've never spoke to you on the phone that insult has not entered the matter. So we don't even get to, what is your... I'm like, I said, Kai, you're very accomplished too. What's happening here? They gave him one award. I said, have you winning award?
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
And when was that? So what did you do exactly? Talk me through. He was like, what?
It's really cool.
Take me through it. It's very interesting that, I think it's crazy because we're starting to see, I'm like, people I went to primary school with are like on the world stage. That's insane. Everybody's doing things.
Yeah, really cool things. So I had to rush home, but I just kept thinking, wow, like she's done such a good job. And it wasn't one of those things where you're encouraging your friend. I wasn't lying. She did really, really well. I was very, very pleased. Very, very happy for her. It was fantastic stuff. Then the rest of my weekend was boring. I had brunch with Bolu's parents. No, it wasn't. Well, Saturday was boring. Sunday, I had brunch with Bolu's parents. Again, this spirit of gluttony, because I had to know again, because it was like, the time was, I was like, that means I won't be able to make it to church. I said, but brunch.
But brunch, man.
But brunch.
I woke up to go to church, and the way the sleep was doing me, I said, I'm actually so sorry to everybody involved.
So we had brunch before they went back home, and that was fun. Like, his parents are so... I enjoy, like, meeting, like, talking to my friends' parents that are just a bit... Because some people are very high strung, some people are very laid back, some people are very funny.
I have like a youthful.
Yes. Bolu's dad is just, it was fun. That was fun. And then we hung out in the evening, stupid as usual. Very, very stupid. Anybody, if you're looking for a backup dancer, let me put to you that
SOJ did a dance for us
He's
yesterday.
Currently in his...
he's in a Shakira phase.
Anything, yes. Anything.
So I just want... Yes, so sorry about it, but that's all I can say.
Anything reggaeton and bashment.
Shakira, Brick Alley,
if you want someone that can replay that kind of thing.
That's the mood.
He'll be with you.
That's the mood.
Yeah. So we had a great time. It was a nice...
It was
It was a nice weekend. Rounded it up by irritating the hell out of my dad. So, that's always like a big win on my own. This morning, he was so annoyed with me. I was just like, bro. Both of us said, I'm not in your mood.
Please, I have one. In fact, I was looking at the dilemmas. There's one that I must read because this person went out of their way. And it must be fascinating to live in this way because we'll read it. And that's what I love about this platform. We are what they call equal opportunity people, plus insult, plus. And I always say, you can't insult me because, I'm lighthearted. I will first insult myself. This dream chaser said, when should you give up on a dream? Because I think it's time that you wannabes gave up on your stupid podcast. You are never going to make it. You should get a real job. Let me tell you something.
So you get me? I saw that and I burst out laughing.
No, you don't understand. I was almost crying.
You know what made me laugh?
Because look at the level of iteration in this dancery.
Let me tell you what happened. I was looking through it and I was on the phone and I said, that I just found hate mail. I was so happy because I've never seen it before.
I'm like, we don't have hate mail.
We don't have mail.
I mean, we have, but
so I read
this is someone that said that.
When I said the person called...
You know what's irritating? Is this the best you can do?
The person said, when I said that this person is called Dream Chaser, my friend said, that's a man.
No, it's definitely a man. But what's actually pissing me off is this was your opportunity. This was your chance.
You could have gone hard
to come out of the gate. Really insult. I didn't even see any personal insults. You didn't see any of us look anyhow. You didn't even give specific insults about the podcast. Or you don't like. You said you want to get a real job. My dear, who wants a real job? Do you know what I mean? Who are those that want a real job? You said we will not make it. Okay. It's fine. Honestly, I think it's okay.
That cracked me up.
No, I was like, this level of insults is all those when you're at primary school, your mom is a clown.
Your head is big.
You're like, what are you talking about?
Shut up, your dirty skin mother. I never brushed since 1994. All right, vibes.
All right, love. Thank you so much for that.
Okay.
Sorry, please. Okay, did you find there's one that I highlighted from the beginning that have you seen one that you want to read?
Yeah.
Quiet.
Okay, this person says, I'm in deep shit. SOS. I've hit a crossroad and I don't know what to do. My man smokes, doesn't wear underwear, and he doesn't want to be a member or attend any church. He's not Muslim. Our relationship is about 4 months and I've been asking questions. I've tried telling him the importance, but he seems his mind is made up.
Of pants.
I've compromised on the smoking and underwear. But this third one is difficult too. So I asked her, what if not attending a church is a deal breaker for me? He said he can't go to church because of me. Ouch. I can't even understand it because he believes in God though. I'm very worried I might keep compromising for the rest of my life. He doesn't want to change anything. And I can already see myself compromising and making it work. Help me! Talk some sense into me.
How she wrote it. Your boyfriend is not wearing pants. No, sorry. She said that what she's already your boyfriend is not wearing pants. He's going up and down. Everything is swinging all over the place. There's moisture just swinging all over. And what you think you should move on from that fact? You want him to be in church naked without pants? Hey, what's he talking about? Then he vapes.
Bruh, no smoking plus no pants. No pants and smoking.
Nothing is secure. See, sis.
Do you know what's making me laugh is I think
you should be the one in church. You should be praying for what they call discernment.
Do you know what cracks me up is when people have these dilemmas that ultimately result in them realizing that their ideals are not who they are.
Yeah.
I understand the shock of thinking you are one person and
realizing you're somebody who will date someone who doesn't wear pants.
Like, it's not my job
She previously thought underwear was very important to her. Only to realize she's okay with people who don't wear pants.
It's not even... The interesting thing to me is that you are having... you're having all these debates when the truth is that you're just not as strict as you thought you were.
Number one. And number two, what you're looking for is for us to say...
there's a way.
You're either looking for us to say, don't manage it and kill it. Or look, these things are very important to you. You know that they are deal breakers, but what are you doing? You like him or whatever, and you don't want to put your big girl pants on. See what I did there? And just say, listen, my bro, number one, you will wear pants. You can't even wear boxers. Brief. Not wearing underwear all the time is crazy. Number one. Number two, smoking kills. We all knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, it is important to me that you go to church. Which one is he doesn't want to go to church because of her? Is she a witch?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not on that. Anyway, my point to you, sis, is that what's doing you don't want to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Your boundaries are flexible.
Yeah.
Your boundaries are very porous. Things are passing through them. And you're not sure what to do with this realization.
This is not a dilemma. Somebody is not doing things
that are making you happy, and they're not being the person that you would ideally like to be with or like them to be. And you are just, for whatever reason, you're afraid to just say, see, this thing is not working for me. So I don't know what the question is exactly, but what I suggest is that you come to terms with the fact that your deal breakers they're clearly not breaking any deal.
Yep.
Because if that not going to church was a deal breaker, my sister, by now, that deal would have been broken.
Yeah, 100%.
That man is moving around pantless all over the place. Do you know how hot it is to not be wearing pants?
It's not even this firm.
Then this boy will wear kaftan. Oh no, this is not a good situation at all.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I have Jola's blood tints.
Oh my God.
Blonde tints. Sorry. Hello, Jola and FK. I always looking forward to seeing your voice. So listening to your voice is very demure. I just want to say ahead that I've read this, and this person actually like in a very foolish. You know why? Because you know the dilemmas like this babe.
Mm-hmm.
She sends it and she kind of knows that like she's not serious.
Mm-hmm.
This person believes that they're serious, and it's crazy to me. Okay. So to my dilemma, dating my boss, they wound me. So it all started pre-COVID. I was in my downtime. I got a new job in finance, one of the big four in Nigeria. I didn't even notice my boss. He didn't even cross my mind, although he's married. He's just one of those cool guys that have their family living abroad. And then COVID came. I was on lockdown with this man, like play, living like husband and wife. Sorry, from where to where now? From where to where? We were just saying that he's a cool guy.
He's a cool guy.
And his family lives abroad. Next thing you know, COVID came. Next thing, I was on lockdown. How did you get there? Anyway, they were living like husband and wife. The audacity for Misha. Moving forward, we were running it, and boy, oh boy, I fell in love. I low-key feel like he liked me more than expected. I'm a catch. Oopsie. He casually talks about his family, and in a way, I was just so in love with his kids and his wife. I always make sure he checks on them, even buys them gifts and sends it to them. It just feels like I'm a part of the family. Oh, cherry weary. Fast forward to my dilemma. So all this time, the dilemma has actually not come up. Fast forward to my dilemma. A silly lady showed up in our team one day, and there the war started. She was always all over him, and the fact that I work directly with him and we are in this relationship, I was always pissed. She tried cooking for him once because she figured out I cook for him, although he gave her food to his driver. Long story short, I need that Pepe out of our lives. He claims she's not an interference, but they are too close for comfort, and now it's affecting our work and our relationship. I know I've not secured a husband in him, but for the short term, I need to enjoy this time in my life without her interference. I need that witch deleted! !
And it's here she wrote too.
She wants us to delete the witch.
Do you know what? I don't think this dilemma is for us. I think it's for our audience. Why don't they?
I think advise her.
I don't think we have the.
I don't think
we have the skills for this.
No. Because there is witchcraft happening, but it's
Is
not
this a
weird.
joke?
She wants the witch deleted. It's like people that do sage in the house, then they are coughing because you are the evil spirit that is disturbing your life. She's insane. Look at where the dilemma started. She said there's a war. Also, can I just point out that she also said she has not made a husband of him yet.
Someone she's living with.
No, because she feels like she's part of the family.
That is so insane. That's like crazy behavior. This is actually insane behavior.
This is, people always think witchcraft is by making your neighbor mad. This is actually what they call, this is when how people are possessed. What's with this? Anyway, I leave it to you guys to advise our dear sis who wants her main. Anyway, see, I know you people will focus. The one she asked us is how to get the witch deleted. Now, if you're so kind, you can also advise her on maybe perhaps other things that you have spotted that could be an issue. For example, the fact that she's living in somebody else's husband's house, who is also her boss. That could be something that you mention. I don't know. So, these are just some other things. But, it's all okay because she really encourages him to buy
she's
gifts.
part of the family.
She's part of the family. She encourages him to check on them. She's just so in love with the wife and kids whose family member she's collecting from them. But she's also just so in love with them.
Okay, sure. Next, we have the forbidding one who says, greetings. My girlfriend and I have been dating for a year now. So we were hanging out with her friends, just catching cruise, when one of them made a joke in the lineup. I hope you're not pregnant, oh. Before I could even blink, my girlfriend shouted at the very uttermost top of her lungs, God forbid! Not small, God forbid, oh. She said it with her full chest. Everybody burst out laughing. But me, I was just sitting down there like, I'm the abomination we're forbidding. I swear, they never even shout this kind God forbid for the devil. It now clicked that it's not even just that day. Even when I bring up talk about the future or marriage or long-term plans, she'll be like, I beg, you're doing too much, roll her eyes or laugh it off. When we got home, I told her how her God forbid comment made me feel. And she just laughed and said, babe, you're overthinking it now. It's just a joke. Joke that left me looking like one rejected person in front of her friends. I beg, I'm not understanding you. Am I overreacting? Or is she showing me small that this relationship is one-sided? Should I just drink water and move on? Or do I need to take this God forbid more seriously?
You're not overreacting, because if it's me, I'll react like mad. But I'm sorry, it's very funny, but you're not overreacting, but at the same time, look, again, why we all do, he knows why he feels. He knows why he feels the way he feels, and he knows why she's always saying it. So, look, you must come to your own conclusion.
A part of me wanted to gaslight him on behalf of the sisterhood, but
I was about to say, honey, pregnancy is a threat to life at the end of the day, and it is. But the truth is, how you feel and why you feel that way.
Especially with the added context
she's still gaslighting you. That is a joke.
The main thing is that the added context of like this person not being interested in talking about a future, and or
like it happens all the time. So look, You
know,
people are not on the same page
at all.
If you like, stay there. If you like, don't stay there.
But I think you're allowed to be hurt and move on.
I think so.
Because if someone just is dismissive of what a future would do, and then whenever there's like allusions to anything that's permanent, because I wouldn't want to get pregnant if I'm just like, I prefer to be married before I got pregnant. So I understand that part. But if it's also just that this babe doesn't want to indulge any or that kind of gist, then fair. Okay, while you're looking for one, let me read Toby or Not Toby.
Okay.
Which basically to be or not to be. It says, hello, FK, Jola, and guests, if any. I never thought I'll be writing here, but I need to get this off my chest. My ex-wife and I were married for 4 years before we got divorced. It wasn't a messy breakup. We just realized we wanted different things out of life. So we split amicably and decided to stay friends. In fact, we became quite close after the divorce, and we've been there for each other even though our marriage didn't work out. Fast forward to now, she's getting married to someone else. I knew she was dating someone, but I didn't think it was serious. She's invited me to the wedding, and honestly, I don't know how to feel about it. At first, I thought it'd be fine because I'm quite happy for her. I really am. She deserves the best, and I know her fiancé is a great guy. Maybe much better than I was at the time, but the more I think about it, sitting there and watching her marrying someone else, the more I feel weird. It's not like I want us to get back together or anything, but I didn't expect to feel this pang of sadness. We were so close for so long, and now it feels like this wedding is the final step in moving on completely. And I guess it's hitting me that things will never be the same between us after this. And I feel it's inappropriate for me to even go. But then another part of me feels like not going would send the wrong message, like I don't support her happiness. I've been going back and forth in my head, trying to figure out what to do, and honestly, I feel strangely bothered. Like, what right do I even have to feel this way? Should I go to the wedding and suck it up, or do I politely decline? Either way, I'm really happy for her, but man, this is harder than I thought any advice would do.
Let me listen. You can be very happy for her at home. There's no need to put yourself in that situation, I think, just to prove that you are happy for her. I think there's nobody that would not understand, not wanting to watch
your ex-wife
get married. It's fine for like, obviously, excuse me, you say you're friends and that's great. And you're happy for her and you recognize that she's moving on. And there's nothing wrong with it. But I think that you not being okay, like actually being there watching her is completely normal and fine. And I would be very surprised if anybody took it any type of way. Just even people that they're not, as in I can't call them my ex with my full chest. I did not go to their wedding because I'm like, I don't want to see it. I'm very happy for you and there's nothing going on between us anymore. But it feels somehow to me to even see somebody that I was entangled with in any way marry somebody else. Then imagine if I was married to them before. There's no way I'm going to that. So I think this whole friends with your ex thing, I think is always good, but you have to remember the context and that there are boundaries existing for a reason. It will be very somehow for you. And I think if I'm imagining I go to someone's wedding and I see their like ex-husband there, even me, I'll be like,
yeah. I think
it's fine.
I think there are two things. The first thing is that because you guys had a good, like, amicable split, you didn't really need to, like, grieve the loss of the relationship. But her moving on with someone else, even though you have no, it's not as if you miss your ex-wife in that way. You're not interested.
But I just think these are human things.
Yes. And I think that there is, I don't know what divorce etiquette is. I think a nice thing would be to get them a nice gift.
Yeah. And just say, look, you're not coming, but you wish them all the best.
A nice gift. And depending on like the type of, if you really want to prove to yourself you don't mind or whatever, you could take them to dinner. That's another time.
Personally, I wouldn't take them anywhere.
I'm a bit confused because I feel like maybe he feels there's something he's supposed to be doing.
No, I think because they're friends. Yeah. He feels like, okay, they're divorced now, she's moving on. Everybody should be over it by now. But the truth is things are not that linear.
Yeah. So it's true, but I just, like, if it's that you want to show your support, I'm trying to think of other things that don't involve you.
I think what you said is great. Buy them a gift.
Buy them a lovely gift.
Obvious reasons. Sorry to say I'm not coming.
I say, ma, you want your mommy to see me, and
but like,
you want my ex-mother-in-law to be dancing past me.
So we did this thing 4 years ago, this exact wedding. Yeah. Then you now want me to be here again? No. I think it's okay for you not to go. And I think that we're a bit caught up with things that sometimes are like very straightforward, because you don't want to hurt somebody else's feelings.
Yeah.
But if she says she doesn't understand, she's a liar, because I can't put any amount of money down that even though she's married, if you are getting married, you invite her to a wedding, she'll also feel a type of way.
Yeah.
Because it's just normal. It's just how it is when you've been attached to somebody. It's somehow to see them on the day they are marrying somebody. You might bump into them for lunch and that's fine. But you had a wedding with this babe and then all of a sudden you want to attend her wedding. Me, I can't do it, Sha. Everybody is matured except me. So personally, I'm not into it.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I'm not into it at all. I just think that it's... Okay, what was one? Okay. Hey, a beautiful lady. Okay, well, first of all, hello, wonderful ladies plus excellent guests. There's no guests today anyway. This is from graphic designer. Please, guys, make merch so all of us, I said what I said, baddies, can rep worldwide and recognize ourselves. I suggest nice tank tops, water bottles, stickers, laptop bag, tote bag, cap, etc. Please make it international. No, thank you so much. Pay for it. No, but we've actually been discussing merch. You know what it is, the times we've tried merch, maybe the merch we did is not great. It was in and out. So when we did the Owambe fabric, that
did really
really well. But like the t-shirts didn't really do that well, even the tote bag. So I don't know. We're looking into it, but we're just not 100% sure what people are going for. And I think now we're having a meeting on the podcast, but I think a way to jump over it might be to do pre-orders instead of...
I think we need to just change the way we think about the merchandise anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't want it to be... I have a thing about... I don't know. I'm quite capitalist, but I have a thing about doing things just for its sake.
Yeah.
So it has to have added value to me in that it's not just because you like the podcast you're buying a shirt.
You would wear it anyway. Yeah, I think it has to be pretty.
It's just... Yeah, I think it's just a waste of
nice
time.
In general, and not just a thing with our logo.
Yeah, with our logo
or whatever.
All of that stuff to me is kind of annoying.
Yeah, so it's something that is being thought about. Don't worry yourself. So the one I actually wanted to say, Dami Dilemma, and I bring this up because like people know the thing to do, and then you still ask these questions anyway. Hey, beautiful ladies.
Okay.
Please, I have a friendship/Owambe dilemma. Back in uni, I had a school father who I knew through a friend. She's older than me. They were dating at the time and continued dating even after university. Their relationship, however, took a turn after he left for Australia. He's been there for 3 years and the long-distance relationship strengthened the relationship also, we thought. I still stayed in touch with both of them, with the couple. And one day I got a call from the girl that her engagement with my school father will be happening the next month. I was super thrilled for them. I was looking forward to the day. On the D-Day, I got a text not to bother call me for the wedding as it has been cancelled. Did you know that our uncle didn't even show up for the wedding?
Stop.
Apparently he lied that he was in Lagos. This nigga didn't leave Australia at all. I was deceiving the girl and her entire family.
Wait. Okay, go ahead, continue.
Embarrassed and jilted, Big Sis, as I fondly call her, wasn't able to move on from that incident and broke up with him altogether, obviously. P.S. She didn't tell me what exactly happened. Everything I gathered from the situation was through the school father because he called me and explained that he was in a tight corner. I was so sorry he lied and blah, 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 blah. Of course, I was so disappointed and mad at him, but I didn't stop talking to him in general because I was close to both of them. 3 years later, Big Sis now lives in the same neighborhood as me, and we've grown a lot closer. School father, who is still in Australia, got engaged like a month ago and told me that he'll be coming to Nigeria for the wedding in February. He hinted that he wants me to be there, and I was like, okay, I'll come, knowing fully well that I won't step out of my house. Now, he called me 2 days ago to ask for my address. He said he wants to send the Ashoebi. When I got the Ashoebi and I opened it, I was shocked at the quality of the material. And I even had to call him to be sure if it wasn't for the bride's family or something. This man now shocked me and told me that I don't need to pay for the Ashoebi, that it's mine and all I need to do is come for the wedding. Flabbergasted. In this T-Pain economy, this man gave me 90k Ashoebi for free. You guys, you see that I have a dilemma. I don't want to go as it will hurt Big Sis, but I also don't want to return the Ashoebi because guilt will not let me sew it knowing I won't go. I also don't want to disappoint school father because he is good to me. He comes through for me a lot as well. Or should I sew it and give her an excuse? What kind of excuse can I give? I'm tired, help my life. Love to you lovely women, Jola and FK. I enjoy listening to you guys a lot. And you're a thief and a criminal.
She doesn't even give a damn.
Let me tell you something. This is a greedy goat because the only thing she cares about is the fabric.
This is crazy.
You know this plus big
this is so crazy.
Plus uncle. All this girl is thinking about is what style will I sew? You know, again, is this you know, let me know, like, these are fair enough things. I love when people can be honest
about their vanity.
Because she said it that she wasn't going to go.
Yeah.
And after seeing the fabric, she's thinking, this wedding will be sweet. So
that fabric is nice. That means the quality of the wedding will be mad.
This wedding will be. So he gave me for free. All of a sudden, we're so close.
Nah.
Girl, you know
you can't go.
You know you can't go. Look, at the end of the day, the big sis, she's in your life. You said you people live in the same area. Is it worth, like, this fabric, is it worth losing the relationship over? And I get it, yeah, you're in touch with him or whatever. At the end of the day, he left somebody you're close to at the altar. I'm sorry, canceling your wedding on the day off.
He never even left Australia.
Do you know what I mean? And then imagine for her, 3 years later, all of a sudden now you're back, you're doing wedding. You know how it's going to feel for her. And I don't know. Look, let me know, like, I get it because everybody's somehow in one way or the other.
Yeah.
I get that you really like the Ashwebi. It happens. But I want you to not be a greedy goat about the fabric.
It's the fact that it's the fabric that is really tricking her.
That's really tricking her. And that's what's so funny to me, that if this fabric was not in play, this decision would have been. But now that she has seen the fabric and the fact that he gave her the fabric for free. So look, I think at the end of the day, the fabric is not that deep for you to, like, go against somebody that you're also close to.
Yeah, I think
especially
it's not worth
in this
it.
Context where he was in the wrong. Yeah. I guess this is a new life, his own wedding, but you know it's going to affect your relationship with her, and
with big sis,
she's the one that it feels like you're closer to or you see more. This is just hilarious to me that it's about the Ashwebi. My sister saw it and wear it another day.
Yeah. So odd.
If the fabric is nice, he won't collect it from you now.
Send a gift.
Yeah, he won't collect it from you. Send a gift, take them to dinner after the wedding. But just the act of you going to the wedding, I think, will be somehow
cool. Yeah. All right, this is the last one. Older kids' problems. Hello, my favorite girls and guests, if any. My heart is heavy. I come from a family that has always struggled financially. Growing up, we never had nice things, and I never felt like I needed anything more than what we had. Also, God blessed me with sense, so I've always been a smarty pants, winning awards, getting sponsorships, and doing everything possible to make sure my parents never had to worry about me. While my siblings needed financial support, I always found ways to take care of myself. Now, after years of working hard, I finally got my big break and received an incredible job offer in New Zealand. So a much higher pay, better career growth, and once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I thought my family would be very happy for me when I told them. Instead, my dad has been making the weirdest comments like, so I should ship you abroad when your brother is in Ikiti. I don't even understand how that concerns me. Since I told them, they've been cold, dismissive, and honestly downright cruel. They spent the entire week bad-mouthing me to family and friends, saying I'm selfish, that I've abandoned them and I don't take care of them, which is a blatant lie. I have given everything to this family. Everything. Now, there's something that has been going on and on that I feel like they've been intentionally creating situations to make me spend money just so they can guilt trip me when I don't. Suddenly, there's always an emergency, always a new expense that conveniently popped up. And when I bring out money, that's when the comments start. My mom even looked me dead in the eye and said, "Go, don't worry about us. If we die, we die." It's unfair. The only person who has supported me is my baby sister. She's the only one who believes in me, to the point that when I told her of my job offer, she saved up money to buy me a suitcase for my trip. Meanwhile, my parents and brothers haven't even pretended to be happy for me. It's like they rather see me struggle than succeed without them. I live in a week. They don't even know that yet, and at this point, I don't know how to tell them. I should be excited, but I feel heartbroken.
That's tough. I think there's something about, like, it's almost like a misery loves company thing. So we've all been in this struggle together, and you are like
about to
you're kind of this shining light in this situation. So we're all in the struggle, but you're doing well and you're helping us and you're helping us out and you're helping us out. All of a sudden, it feels like your life is about to move into a different trajectory. And rather than seeing how they gain from this, it is, no, you must stay with us inside this loss. It's a very weird mindset to have, where it's like, why will you leave and do better for yourself when we are here?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to suffer with us. All of a sudden, you're better than us. And it is a crazy dynamic that families have because you're doing yourself.
Mm.
This is literally, as in you're literally doing, if she takes the job in New Zealand and she goes there, she's happier, she's making more. Yes, you will not see her, but you're not even fighting for that. You don't give a shit about seeing her all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do, why are you acting out?
Mm-hmm.
This baby's about to leave. So I don't understand why people do this thing. The thing you want, you're saying, you're moving far away from us, so we will not be seeing you. We hope you will not forget us. That's the one you should say now. But a lot of adults, especially Nigerian adults, they cannot talk. You cannot emote. You cannot say what is on your mind. Everything is always all these weird attitudes.
I think you're being really generous. I think her family is jealous of her.
Of course they are.
I think they're extremely jealous. But they've also made family plans with her, with her money.
And they require her to be close because that's the only way you can enforce that.
So the family her finances are now a part of the family's plans. And so if, as of early January, your mom was thinking of things she wants to do in June, July, August with your funding or with supplementary funding from you. Once you leave the house, it's
now
different.
Now you're in New Zealand, so I have to call you, say, if you tell me no, what's the consequence?
Yeah, there's nothing like that. I think that there is something about unhealthy family dynamics that start, and what they are fighting for is control. They want to still be able to control you in a very specific way. And I know that what is hurting her feelings from what she has written is, this thing you're saying, they'll miss you. They haven't said that. What her mom said is, if we die, we die. Her mom didn't say we're going to miss you so much. She's basically implying that you leaving is going to put the family in a tougher financial situation.
And that's all they care about.
There's something about being the fixer in a family. Yeah. She's always gotten scholarships. She's always done very well for herself. She's never really needed help. Somehow, the pressure has now doubled on her, as opposed to encouraging her siblings to be like, look, there are other ways you can make sure that the burden is lessened or lesser.
On yourself,
Like your sister has hustled, figured out business plans, job opportunities. She's done her own thing. And while I'm thinking, okay, so this is one less person to worry about, it has become, okay, so we'll use you to
everybody's
supplement.
Now going to power, which means you can't do anything for yourself because you are for the family.
Yeah. If you're living in a week, you don't know how to tell them. It's very simple. Some people do the I'm leaving tomorrow type of thing, because I don't know your family, but I'll be afraid to tell someone who goes out of their way to sabotage me.
Yeah, I can't lie to you. I always used to say that I both get and don't get people who travel without telling anybody.
Look at this one now.
This one now, personally, if it's me,
it's only my sister I'm telling.
Is that day that I'm going that you will know that I'm leaving. And then you can decide how you want to face. I've come to say goodbye. I'm on the way to the airport.
Yep.
Good night and take care. Safe journey or whatever.
I'll call you when I get to where I'm going to.
That's it. Because they're making it clear to you how it is.
Yeah. There's something really painful about your family being your op.
Yeah. It's such a sad and harsh reality where it's like, see, we were banded together, none of us were in control of this. Mm-hmm. But by that, these are people that are supposed to have your back ultimately, especially when it's your parents. I'm like, if your siblings are your ops, can you even understand it? We're all on the same level. You people are the ones that brought me here. I didn't ask you. And then now you don't even want me to do well for myself. It's such a backwards mentality. So yeah, I think it's crazy.
Yeah.
They are going to fight for control to the detriment of any relationship that they have with you. And on top of that, they're trying to guilt trip you into thinking what you're doing that is good for yourself is bad for them.
It's bad for them, yeah.
Whereas, in all honesty, it sounds like it would have been better for them anyway.
Yeah.
But they're too short-sighted to see that.
Yeah, and they've changed the dynamic.
They have.
So now you are going to look at everything that they need moving forward as, is this a real need?
Yeah. Because now you know they're your ops. So you're going to treat them as such. It's tough, Sha. I can't lie, because you're also going away. And I imagine for you, like, New Zealand is far. I don't even know where you are now, but New Zealand is far as hell.
Very
far from anywhere. That's just New Zealand is far.
It's the end of the bottom of the world.
It is far the time zone is on the other end. Everything is upside down. You people flush differently. Everything is crazy over there. There's animals. There's all sorts of things. But for you, it's like, yes, this is a new opportunity, but you're also moving to a completely different place. And you don't even have that like backing of who will be calling you to say, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you this? I don't know. It's really sad for me because this is a great thing. And rather than, do you know what? There's even a case to be made for C. I understand it's a good opportunity for you, but we don't want you to be this far, blah, blah. Like for even trying to explain it out. Then it's like, okay, you can't even complain that they're not supporting you, but at least they're making their... they don't even care about that. They don't even care to say, CEO are afraid that this is what's going to be. It's very sad because they're going to lose out in a major way. So at the end of the day, now you're kind of realizing, okay, I'm on my own. And so you're going to move on in that way. And let me tell you what is worse. They're going to use that against you as well. When you form, I'm leaving, and because they are my ops, I'm not going to be entertaining this shit anymore. They're still going to use it against you. That, can you imagine? She didn't tell us until the day she was leaving. When she got there, she's not this. So unfortunately, you can only win for yourself in your pocket. I don't think that you're going to win with them at this point. I think time will have to have passed before there's any like potential, and it will still end in money.
You think?
Because I think even if they have a sensible conversation, it's when somebody phones that they need money and you now say, oh, but that's the time they will hear you because they're in a vulnerable position where they need you. It's very crazy. And it's a shame that this is like a very regular dynamic when there's one person that is carrying the family.
Yeah, they're saying in Yoruba about how one successful person in a family of paupers is in trouble. Basically, like if you're in a space where you are the family's only hope, apart from the ego trip, the way dynamics change is so interesting. Speaking of which, I was talking to a friend about like this whole family dependency, and he brought up something that was so I'd never thought about. So his whole thing was, particularly in the Nigerian context, one thing he doesn't like is how when there is a wealthier person in the family who takes care of the rest of the family, there is a way it changes the dynamic, particularly when they are older, there's a way it changes the dynamic of the other family members and their children.
Of course.
So let me explain what I mean. So let's say me and you are siblings and you're wealthier than me. In fact, let's say all of us in this room are siblings, but you're the wealthiest. And somehow you take care of everybody. It changes the dynamic I have with my own children. Right? And Debbie has with her own children. I was like, oh, what do you mean? And he gave this excellent example. He was like, because...
Oh, I thought you meant it changes the relationship between you and my children.
No.
You and your own children.
Yes.
Okay.
And the example he gave was that, so a very clear-cut example is, my kid is ready to go to uni. Now, I don't have the finances to send them to like a covenant, for instance. But you've said, no, this your kid is very smart. So if they get in, if they pass the exam,
I will pay, let them go.
I'll pay. So what he's noticed that tends to happen is now, you, for fear of disrespecting me, have very little input in that conversation. So all of a sudden, it's like, what I now am afraid of disrespecting you. I have very little input. So you get your results. But when it's time to write the exam, it's not what do you want to study. Go and talk to your auntie.
Yeah.
She will tell you what to study.
Yeah.
She will tell you
Ask
what
her
to
if
do.
it's okay.
And slowly, like, you seed your relationship with your kid
to the wealthy person.
To that wealthy person.
Yeah.
But also, your child might look at you differently because they know that you are not the final authority on anything.
See,
at all.
Again, my mouth is bad. If I had that kind of relationship, I can very easily see how one day there's tension and you're telling me what I cannot do. That maybe I've spoken to Auntie and she said, and at some points I'm going to say, you're not paying for it. I don't know how to pay for it. You can't actually tell me what to do.
And
all of us you're not the one in charge.
I had never thought about it, about how there are other family dynamics that are ruined.
You see it with, I mean, obviously this is a much different, but you see it with fathers and mothers. where sometimes people are talking funny to their mother because they're like, ultimately, you're not the final say. So what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Which one is all this noise you're making? But that one is even different because parents even still have, even if your dad is paying, your mom might still have the
and
same.
it's with other things as well. So even with like family, because I started thinking about it where
it goes to everything, even like holidays.
Weddings, it's no holiday.
How do you want to
even,
decide where
even weddings, it's like you're not choosing dates if Big Mommy is not available. And I had never sat down to think about it.
Have you not seen a situation where it's the person that's paying that chooses the band? All of a sudden, you want vintage band. They said they don't like it. That's not their band.
Even the color.
All of a sudden, you want to do this. They said they must have this other person.
Yeah.
Or they must have this caterer.
So those parts are even, to me, those ones are even normal. What it was that you fundamentally change the relationship between the parent and the child. Because it's not just about, oh, I want this one. It's that there's a quote unquote hierarchy. There is a way you see certain things. But it's not just about the money. It's that there is a seeding of like respect and like mindfulness as well.
There's also a seeding of like being the one you call.
Yeah.
Of not dependency, but you know, there's a way that with your parents, well, depending on the relationship you have with your parents, but let's say you have an okay to good relationship with your parents, things are going bad, I am calling my mom. Like, even if my mom fought today, something happens to me, I have picked up my phone, I have called. Now, if my mom is not, and even if it's not a money situation, if I don't see my mom as the one who has answers, all of a sudden I'm not calling my mom. I'm calling my auntie or my uncle. And it's not a monetary situation, but in my mind, you're not the person to sort things out. And so now something has happened, and then is your sister that is telling you that, Kini called me, or we need to do, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would lose my mind. I can't lie. How do you think you
But you might not think, but that's the thing, that if it's been happening, so don't forget that this doesn't happen overnight, but it's because it's been happening since the beginning or over time. Yes, but isn't it sad where in some cases, some people have gaslit themselves that
like they don't even recognize.
Yes, that there's no problem. Like, you know, like this is how we do things. And
I don't think I can function in such a
scenario. Was just something that I had never, when I tell you, it had never even crossed my mind. But then I started looking for patterns and I found it.
Yeah, but I think this is interesting, but I think this dynamic exists with a certain type of very rich person where there are certain people I know who are very wealthy who I will never collect anything from. Because the way
they hold that help.
And it's not a holding over your head, because if you take me to lunch and you pay, what are you holding over my head?
No,
but there's a way they do things for people that you hear them talk about that you're like, God forbid. It will never be you and me.
Yeah.
And it is in what they think is a spirit of generosity. But it's actually, now you're kind of using it against person that didn't ask you.
Yeah, but then there's also just like human, because it's actually the role of the person who has more to hold themselves back.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? So you have to have the generosity of spirit as well. That if your niece comes and is like, oh yeah, we're getting married, you should just be like, just let me know what you need. No, we just want to know the dates. Like, no. You people should choose the dates and tell me.
And let me know.
You have to.
Or even better still, no problem, I'll talk to your mommy.
Yeah.
Because like ultimately, like now if I go, me and my auntie are very close. If I go and talk to my auntie, no matter what I've said for money tonight that I've discussed, it will end in, okay, let's call your mommy. And I'm always like, okay, but I came to you for sure. Okay, no problem. What will I say?
But it just takes that generosity of spirit as well. I had never thought about it.
You see it all like I've seen situations where it's, I mean, not little things, but you're talking about, I know people who they've stopped being friends because maybe when they were younger, they had an issue and their friend helped them pay rent. And now their friends' children are saying it to their own children but that year and I'm just like,
that is crazy.
Diabolical.
That's crazy.
And I'm just like, why would that even come? Why do they know? Me, if I do that kind of thing for my friend, it has passed. Which one is telling my children who are friends? Do you know what I mean? Who are friends with your children that, I gave your mommy. What are you talking about? And I think there's a certain type of person that is generous, that they always count it. And I hate it. And in any capacity, family, and I will never collect anything from you. Family, I remember there was something that one of my family members wanted to give me. Very big thing. I said, eh? Everyone was like, oh, I said, I can never go near. What are you guys talking about? Before my life, if they write biography, they'll say that they should put that they are the ones that set me up. And I'm just like, there's no need for, I don't know, I don't get it. So now imagine if that person is like inside your family. No.
It was something that I thought about because we don't really talk about it too, and like just how expectations are built and what that looks like and how that feels and to what degree there is like enablement as well. Because I wonder if, because I didn't grow up in that sort of environment, my nuclear family is very, not isolated, but we're quite small, like I said. So, and has never been any need. But I also wonder if it's easier said than done when you are literally like the family champion, not to get used to getting your identity from it as well. And also like exploit that. Because it must feel great. Like, let's not lie. It must feel incredible to know that there's the pressure of it.
But there's also the like...
But there's also
not
the
joy,
glory.
but there's the self-gratification.
Yes, there's the...
Of being able to help people
especially
out.
if it's like in a big way. So there are like some families I know where one person paid like 30 people's school fees.
Yeah.
And like, so there are 30 graduates in your family because of you. I'm sorry. After Jesus, Jola.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? This entire family is on some big woman shit because of me.
And let me not lie, if it's me, it's going to be tough to get out of my head.
That's what I'm saying.
One of you will look at me anyhow and I think, okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. That it takes, I think, because these dynamics as well, you know, Nigerians don't really respect. So this is something that I've never seen a sociology paper on this. Like this very specific thing is a very African thing. Do you know what it is?
I don't think so. I think that these dynamics are across the board.
Where there's one big mommy. You know, don't forget that Nigeria, you can say we don't have social safety net. There's nothing. So it is directly because of you.
I think that they're champions in families across the board.
Yes.
It's just the way our own dynamics
That's why I said that this one
is a very strange
and I've never
thing.
seen it.
Especially because, and I think the entitlement is uniquely Nigerian.
Yeah.
The way, not just on the people asking you, the way you're expected to carry.
Yeah.
No matter what, without boundary. You're just people that don't know you from mother will be saying, but that's your cousin. Excuse me. These are people that they used to say, talk to this person on the phone. You don't know them.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I should be paying your own children's school fees. What are you talking about?
I thought about it and I was wondering, like, because for me, it wasn't even about the money.
Personally, I would hate to be that person because I don't think I would handle it.
You handle it with grace, right? Or the emotion.
I don't think I'd handle it properly. I think it's a bit too aggrandizing for me. I would hate it. Like, obviously, you want God to bless you, but please bless everybody together. Let there not be problem because I cannot imagine, and I know the siblings. I cannot imagine my siblings coming to ask me that please that I should pay. Hi. First of all, they rather faint. They won't even do it. That's actually the truth of the matter. They rather do GoFundMe.
No, it's not that. I think my own thing would just be just as the individual who has more.
It's on
figuring
you
out
to regulate
how to regulate your emotions because it's even like.
But it's also on them to regulate their own shit.
Yeah, but that's what I mean because if you don't regulate, you have the upper hand. So it feeds into smaller things. So you have people slightly afraid. It might feed into. I don't want to make it like that the boogeyman. But the reason I'm talking about this, but I'm not talking about like the greedy, wicked, blah blah
like
blah.
Like a
ones.
good person.
I'm talking about the ones who they have less than you. They are unable to. Life dealt them a bad hand or whatever, and they need you. Because your preferences can feed into their everyday life. Because there are ways they would have liked to run their family or things they would have liked
and
to
it will come down.
And it just doesn't.
Do you know how mad this is? Little things like, okay, fine, you need me to support your rent, but I have like an investment in this property in this area here. Mm-hmm. So all of you can live here or I don't know what.
Yeah.
All of a sudden now, people have to live in this area.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You know, it's a strange dynamic, but I was listening to Money Wise, which is another rich person's podcast. People are always asking me, I'll be telling you the different ones. Money Wise is a rich person. It's a podcast about rich people. Mm-hmm. It's about how people who have come into money are spending their money. So you have things like some people who, you know, it's mostly tech people. They've sold their company, these sorts of things. So you have all the ranges from somebody who currently their monthly spend is 200K to people who don't count, to people whose monthly spend, even though they have millions, is $5,000. And so there was one girl, and she was talking about, she came to a lot of money, and she was talking about the dynamics with her friendships. And obviously, because men have spoken about it, but I was particularly interested because she's a babe. And female friendships already have plenty of dynamics that are not. So it was not interesting when you now add money. So all of them talk about this, how your relationships change when everybody knows you have it. And also, when this is a unique situation, but when people sell their companies, it's so public that all of a sudden, so there was a guy that was talking about it, and then this woman, and they were both talking about when the announcement came out that they've sold. And so now everyone knows, including your closest friend, know that you have, as in, you didn't make small, as in, you are rich. See, millions of dollars, once else is there, you are richer than, I don't care how many millions, but like a lot of money. And she was just like, it feeds into like, for her, the level of overthinking, she was saying for the first few years was crazy, because even little things like, maybe before the money came out, she wanted to go to some restaurant. She really wanted to go there. But like, it was hard to get in or whatever. Now, of course, her finances have changed. So she's able to get like certain concierge services. So she can go wherever she wants. There's nothing like there's no reservation or one thing. All these things in New York, you can't get in for 6 months. But now she got concierge. Now she can go. So now she wants to message her friends. Guys, I got a table at this place, so let's go. But she's like, this bill is like $500 per person for the dinner. Should I now say, okay, but obviously I'll pay? Or should I not say that because that's kind of insulting? Because everybody now starts thinking.
That's such a cultural
thing. And I was like, oh my, if it's Nigerian, that's what I was thinking.
So cultural.
When she said it, I said,
it can never occur to me.
If Jola comes into millions of dollars, if she doesn't say she's paying, I'll say it's...
No, it's not. Some of it is not
What's
even
your
a
message?
discussion.
You're paying, Abby.
It's because it's different if those friends had made the concierge thing and called you that will come and pay for this thing.
No, so she was basically, the guy was just saying that, yeah, it changed dynamics, but what was interesting to me was the level of overthinking. Every small thing.
Oh no.
She was now thinking many, or like another scenario where, like the dress she wanted to wear at somebody's events was ended up being more expensive than their own dress. And they were both just talking about it at random. I can't remember if it was a birthday or whatever. So maybe the dress you want to wear to your birthday, you're asking me how far. And I have sent you like, oh, I want to wear this and this. And then you now, you react in a somehow way. And I'm like, how far? And you're like, oh, the dress you're wearing is like 200 pounds or something. And me, I'm looking at thousands of pounds. So you're now feeling somehow, I just say, hey.
Yeah, that's a cultural thing. That's a very cultural. I think that's why I said that I would love to see just more genuine, like when it comes to like
because here I think the opposite thing will happen. I think all of a sudden everybody is never paying for anything again.
Yeah, because I think it's also about like the closeness of the friends. So when you say friends, because I'm trying to think of my actual close friends, and I'm thinking of it in terms of there's a level of wealth that it's not this dinner that's bankrupting me. It's not this holiday that's bankrupting me. Like, let's be real. So unless, and we've had the discussion before that a lot of times, a lot of your worry is innate.
Yeah.
In that it is what you would think that you're judging other people by. So if I would judge, if I found out Fake was wearing a more expensive dress to my party and my instinct would be to be insulted, of course then
then I would overthink it. But like, ordinarily, that kind of situation, like, Kuku don't care.
Yeah. As long as I look really good.
I don't know how much your dress is on a normal day.
Again, it's a cultural thing in that as a Nigerian person has been going to parties since she was young, everybody is constantly putting their best. Even from when you're little, you have clothes you wear to people's parties. Like you have, church.
This is what I'm wearing.
If somebody invites you to a birthday party, this is
you're
what
wearing your best to their own
event. So I think again, that's one of those like cultural things. What I might now start to worry about is probably a lot more family dynamics. So if I came into money young, I know that if I came into money when I was like early 20s or late teens, I know my relationship with my parents would have changed because my parents would try to overcompensate by proving a point and trying to be harder on me that I would resent.
I think my family would expect more, but like there's also a lot of pride, so they wouldn't ask.
So that's what will make it
silently.
No, that's what will make it worse. So my dad would try and my dad and mom that I know, Kodikola and Kemi that I know, would try and prove a point that is it because we're living in a house you paid for, and will now, instead of like their anxiety, their fear of me having a big head would mean that they would now try to be harder in a way that now won't make sense. And I'm just like, guys,
me, my own be different. What will happen is my mom would have sent me the house, send me the picture of the house. This is where she's moving to. Joe, me, she'll just say, please, me pay agents. I've sent you the bill.
But now I would 100% do that.
No, for sure. And I know she'll do it.
But when you're
she'll
younger,
just send me that, please, this is what I need. Thank you so much.
Yeah, when you're younger,
it's different. But I always, one of the things I enjoy a lot about listening to these things is always the way, like their relationship dynamic. But there's so many dynamics.
I really want to talk to somebody who came into a lot of money when they were younger.
I really, really want to. I think it's so fascinating because when you're young, there's also like, especially with your family and just in general, you're younger. So there's a sense that you don't know what to do. And in many cases, that's actually the fact. But there's now, even though it's your money, it's like, yeah, but I'm the one telling you what to do. So you have to listen to me.
Or if your position in the family makes it funny. So, there are families where the Olori Ebi is not the wealthiest.
Yeah.
So and for people who aren't Yoruba, Olori Ebi means head of the family. So for instance, technically, our Olori Ebi is my cousin. In my generation, it's my cousin Dami. Because she's the oldest. So actually, I think Dami is even doing the best out of all of us. So, but if it was a situation where maybe Jore, who's like one of the youngest, was financially doing the best, would there be... Again, my family doesn't even function like this, so I can only guess. I don't know.
No, in a lot of these families, so it depends. I've seen where they still do Olori Ebi, but everybody knows. That,
so it's like a roundabout conversation.
Yes, a roundabout conversation where you must acknowledge the Olori Ebi. But even the Olori Ebi knows that last who is in charge is
I was close to someone whose family was like this. So their parent was the oldest, but their aunt was the richest and the richest by far.
Yeah. And
his mom was the one that would constantly have to remind his dad not to take offense.
Yeah.
To be like, because you're throwing your weight around because you can't financially compensate. And I was like, your parents have a very interesting dynamic because she had to kind of explain to the man that you keep getting angry about stuff that is not feasible, in that maybe, let me give you an example. Again, okay, me, you and Debbie are sisters. Debbie's the oldest, you're the youngest. It is Debbie's birthday. Me and you are trying to plan something. We want to get Debbie a car. And I start saying, because we won't be able to do, we know the car Debbie would, like her dream car. And we could buy her a car she likes. If we buy her the car she likes, it'll be 50-50. If we buy her a dream car, you pay more. It might be like 80-20. Yeah. And so I start feeling a way. And so somebody now has to remind me that, but the thing is that this doesn't mean anything to Feyikemi. And she doesn't look at you anyway
because of it. But all these things are internal dynamics because you are thinking, if it's me.
Yeah. So it was just, I
will look at you a crazy way.
I just wish there was more stuff we could read on, like how Nigerians feel or behave or think about these things. Because they just aren't. They just aren't. But when we were talking about that thing, it had never occurred to me.
But you know what's interesting? I ask myself, throughout we were talking, in this scenario, which person would you rather be? I will always rather be the person.
I'd rather be the money person always.
No matter the pressures.
It's just because of the freedom as well that it gives you.
Yeah.
I would always choose
the choices, yes. Yeah. I would never want to be dependent on somebody else.
Yeah, no matter how kind they are as well. Because even if you have...
Because I don't like even being at the mercy of someone's kindness because they have one off day.
Yeah. Or the fact that just even when, if you are a level or headed or reasonable person and you have a kind, benevolent, but you have a benefactor that's very kind, there's a pressure that comes with that, in that you don't want to bother them.
Yeah, you also don't want to take advantage of it.
A wicked rich uncle. Everybody even feels it's their right. He's even a wizard. So you might as well share it.
That's who I even want to disturb.
Exactly.
More. If you're nice, I might not call you. You?
The wicked one,
I don't care. You have it, bring it out. So I don't know the way you do all these things. Hopefully we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll ask more questions.
Yeah, but please, if you won the lottery or something, or like you just came into what money like one day, what I find most fascinating about these particular stories is always because on one day they were one thing, and the next day $50 million.
There's a guy that went on. Oh my God, 90s babies won a MOBO.
They did.
Our boys won a MOBO.
Been on a MOBO award-winning podcast.
It's not easy. Well done to Fred, Temi, and VP.
Easy.
Excellent work. Very proud of you. Very well done. If it wasn't you guys or the receipts, would have scattered
that MOBO award.
Scattered that place.
Trust me, nonsense.
Ira won a MOBO too.
Did.
Guess where after the week after being on this
everybody
podcast.
Connected to the podcast is winning.
It was after we got on that podcast and they won MOBO.
Okay.
It was after Ira came and she won MOBO. One bastard here is thinking, when will you win? Hold your lips.
It's not about when will you win.
God gave us a gift.
They said we rise by lifting what?
Others. Well, kind ladies.
That's it.
What are we using?
It's not about we don't care about
vanity
metrics.
We don't care about that. Things. Our reward is in heaven.
I don't care about, if you even give me that award, I won't collect it.
Come on.
So, what are you even talking about?
But yeah, I'm really proud of them. But there's a guy that went on the pod and he had a startup. Sold the startup for a shit ton of money. And he was talking about how the moment his alert hit. So he said he was literally looking. So they had told him it will come in around this time. So he kept on refreshing his. He said the moment he just saw the and the way, because it was millions, the way the number changed. Oh, that is just, because again, yeah, he was already doing well. It was doing really well. But when
there's a big leap like that,
it's so I think
interesting thing.
It would be really nice to talk to.
I think so, because I think
like
it's
that.
so. I mean, obviously, I just listened to it from afar. But one thing that's really common is a lot of them can't do anything for either days or weeks. They're just still because everybody's a bit in shock.
Yeah. I want us to do an episode, maybe in a couple of weeks, where. And me and you spend $1 billion.
And I would also spend $1 billion. I would also prefer someone who won the lottery or something, because there's a difference between working and selling your startup and just winning because of stupid number.
Yeah.
I can't lie, if I win the lottery, I'll be unbearable.
I don't know. No, I don't want to talk about this thing because I think there's something
because
about...
I won it.
No, but there's also something about the age you have, Akemi. You can't say that now.
No. When I say I'll be unbearable, I'm not going to waste... If I hear that I won the lottery, then in 5 years, I don't have money.
No.
Please, let my village people not be aware of it.
Yeah.
First of all, you will not know, but there will be signs.
Yeah. It depends on how much there is, because there are things... Which one is you will not know? I will know something has happened. It's not possible.
I've told you. I'm saying in general, you will not know, but there will be signs.
Yeah, 100%. People just be like, oh, she's doing really well. But I think that I'm very fascinated by how money affects personal relationships, because it's never in isolation. It's always...
No, it's always...
There's always a
context.
Way... Yeah, it changes the way people deal. Do you know something also interesting? The older I've gotten, the more... I used to be very dismissive and very irritable at this whole, I met him or I met her before I made money or after I made money. I used to be very dismissive and irritated.
It's very different.
The older I get, the more I'm starting to understand, particularly because of how the world has changed. So we're not the world in general isn't modest anymore. So there's something about our understanding and our sharing of wealth and
not even just wealth. I find this interesting with power as well. So I know a couple of people that obviously, they have come into positions of power in different capacities. Some people have very important jobs, real power. Some people are talking about government. And it's just, even that dynamic, deeply interesting. Because now, and it's the same, similar situation with money, where it's a lot of times some people don't know what to do with it. Some people, it's very, very interesting to me. Just how, and you're right about this pre and post, because there's a disposition I have to friends who are now in a position of power, who we've been friends for a long time. There's a sense of, okay, now, please tell your bodyguard to move to one side. Let's hear what. And whereas, I've people not made any new friend in power, but let's assume that someone I meet, I feel like it'll be different because of the context we're meeting. And I reckon there'll be a bit more hesitation, because I don't know how your dynamic is. Whereas if I met you before and you got there, okay, good, thank God for you and your office and your life. I'm still going to do whatever I want.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Lovely
interesting.
things. Very, very,
It's very
much
interesting.
so, very much
We'll
so.
find who.
I think so. So please, if you won the
talk to.
lottery, I'm very interested in you. Not Baba Ejebu's 50K,
Yeah.
which is good. Congratulations. I don't. That is not
But
small
not that.
money. But not that. I mean, as in big millions.
Next month is, well, from next week is Women's Month.
Yeah.
You know, we have, I was thinking about this. I felt a bit somehow, but then I didn't after. Because we're very women focused here anyway. But I've gotten so many emails and, oh, we want to do a feature on you. Oh, we want to profile you. Oh, we want to blah, blah, blah. And I've turned down most. So I think a part of me was just like, are we pandering? Like, why are we? And then I remember that actually this is what we do all the time anyway.
Yeah.
But it was something that, again, something happened yesterday that irritated me.
Brand pander.
Yeah.
Where these are not brands that have ever really been women's focused. And then Women's Month comes. And again, obviously it's Women's Month. Like you're supposed to
do something.
But there's a way you go about it that I hate badgency. Me, it's very irritating. There's a way you go about it that I know that, okay, you don't give a shit. But you just said, let's not be as if
I didn't do anything.
We didn't do. And I just think, obviously it's Women's Month. You're supposed to do it. But like, maybe do it with a bit of tact. As I say this, I'm very aware that in Men's Month, nobody does anything because you can argue that every month is normally Men's Month anyway, but I don't know. I think, yes, there's a pandering. I've gotten a couple of invitations that I'm like, yeah, you must be joking.
Yeah.
You don't even know who I am. What
or give a damn.
You don't care now. And also this context, if you even see me there, you'll be asking that, sorry, what exactly happened, you know? So I'm like, I don't really want to be part of your agenda.
Yeah. So. Anyway, guys, this has been a very demure episode.
It has.
Very mature.
I find it interesting.
A very demure episode. Very grown episode.
Sure.
Not really, Sha. We just talked about
I think we should do the spending $1 billion. I think we should do, what else should we do? Episode-wise.
I want two super successful siblings to come on this podcast. I know the ones that I want already.
Or
no,
together.
We know the ones we want. We wanted them for years. If it's super successful,
I know the ones we want.
We wanted them for years.
They would actually come.
Yes. No, I don't know. The older one might say we should come and do it in his house.
My dear, the house is very nice.
I know.
The house is very nice.
The younger brother is chill.
Let's not say too much.
He's really chill.
Very lovely.
But the older one, if once we're able to convince him.
They're not coming here. That's actually the fact. I just want to tell you that then.
It'll be a whole thing.
Let me know, like you two at that level. I'm not going to any studio. You do these cars cook nicer than this studio.
So if they can.
I would like super successful siblings. What else would I like? I really want someone who won the lottery. And like preferably a big lottery.
I think we might be luckier when we go to America.
Yeah, or like inheritance. Someone who inherited just...
Because they also talk about money differently and more openly.
Completely differently. So I can't even
people will be... I'll be a bit worried.
I will not be mad at you for not saying how much. Because you just hear... People will literally be saying, this is the amount of money they made. This is the amount of money they spent. And literally, I'm constantly like, hey, how will you say that?
Culture is just different.
I'm just like, why will you say that? Now I know things about you that like... Why would I even know?
But you know what's so interesting? Because when those things happen, the one that even shocks me a bit is when they'll... So again, this is the thing about growing up, specifically Nigerian, in a very specific way, where they'll do something like... So it won't be a house or a car, which I think of as like big ticket items, so that they paid off a mortgage. They might buy like, so a millionaire, big millionaire, who maybe their parents have always like, maybe they grew up with very modest moms and she's always wanting like a Terry Birch bag. And they buy that for her, and it's like a thing. And all I'm thinking is, for a year,
where they've been buying bags before they had millions.
You say you are
not bags.
Do you know this reminds me of? Remember when Stormzy's mom was saying she can never fly economy again? I don't know who her son is. And she said she's never. She said, and some people were like, oh my, I said you people don't understand. Because even Stormzy is thinking, my mother can never fly economy again. Please, like, can we be real? So again, culturally, it's just some stuff.
It's very different. So like, culturally, I see how, to be honest, if my parents didn't have a house, I would get for them before me.
Before.
Normal.
Before.
That would even be the first.
Of course.
Normal. I will first settle
Because
my
in
mom
our culture,
that,
if your parents...
I'll first settle my mom that let you not have problem first.
Because in our culture, if your mother has a home, you always have a home.
Yeah.
So before I even buy a house and maybe fuck it up, let me give the person that even has sense. First of all,
So I find it very interesting. Anyway, the whole thing. But even this particular, why I don't think it can work, all these kinds of podcasts or interviews or whatever in Nigerians is, even me, you're never going to catch me saying, oh, I made so amount. Why? And they're so, I'm just like, and I keep being like, sorry, I'm enjoying it. So why are you saying this?
No,
thing?
because of how, but think of it's the context now. It's the culture and the context in which it happens.
I'm like, God forbid. They're asking how much you're paying your gardener. You two are saying it. Now I know that you're a clown. And I'm just like, dude, what? Why do I know what you spend every month? This is crazy. And it's very interesting.
And on what? They'll say,
very interesting gist for me.
I get a smoothie from Kenny every day. I said, so now, do you know what? I know how to kidnap you.
They paid their house manager one thing. They paid their nanny two things.
The Pilates is this one. Skincare is this one.
We don't really spend on this, but we'll have one ranch in Montana.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm just like, no problem, no worries. Anyway, so I don't think all these things can work locally. Nobody's telling you that shit.
At all.
Nobody's telling you.
All right, guys, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, share. We finally hit 40,000 subscribers on YouTube. After many days and nights. After many suffering, we have suffered 7 years. Hey!
7 years.
Do you know what this is? This is how Jacob worked for his wife 7 years.
Somebody said, well, I want to be. My dear, it's not easy. Even want to be, is easy. Even want to be, is easy.
This is very random. You know, one of my favorite lines in the world is that Davido. She said, call me if you wanna. I know myself, I'm gonna wanna.
I say it all the time. I'm gonna wanna. You don't even, before you even called me, I'm gonna wanna. Don't worry yourself.
But please like, subscribe, share, leave comments, and review the podcast wherever you listen to it. It's very important.
You can also comment on Spotify. This is a thing that I see happening.
Yeah. It's fun, but it's really important that you actually all those things
engage. Let us engage with the podo.
Yes. See you guys next week. Goodbye.
Peace and love.
This episode of I Said What I Said was hosted by Jola, Jules, Ayaya, and Fekemi FK Abudu. Our cinematographer is Rotimi Kujore. Our social media manager is Najite Anira. Our producer is Debbie Romeo, who was assisted by Theresa Ajayi. Our audio was done by the one and only David Kenny. Our camera assistants are Mark Uko and Pascal Ona for the Carousel Network.